Hey, what's up guys? This is Matt from Bread for Bass, and today we're going to do our first video on the casting deck extension in the Bass Tracker Classic XL. The first video, which is today's video, is going to be only tools and materials that you need to make the exact same casting deck that I have. You may choose to do something different, that's your choice, but this should give you a guideline of kind of where to start. Some of these tools you may already have. A lot of these tools I had already. Some of you may never even use a tool before. Hell, I don't know. So I just try to break out everything that I have to make it as easy as possible for you guys. So to start off, I made my casting deck frame out of aluminum. It's 1.5 inches wide aluminum. Okay, aluminum angle, because it has an angle to it. It's 1.5 inches wide and it's a 1/16 inch thick. They make this 1.5 inches wide and 1/8 inch thick. I don't think you can go wrong either way. I went with the 1/16 because it was cheaper and it's lighter. This stuff is very light. That whole casting deck, the frame that's underneath here, I could pick it up with my left hand, which is my offhand, like it's nothing. I mean, it's nothing, but it's very rigid. I mean, you can't bend it. So that's why I went with aluminum over wood. This comes in, you can get this from Home Depot or Lowe's, or probably any hardware store or home improvement store. I got all mine from Home Depot. It came in 8-foot sticks, okay? And I used 5 sticks. So I think that's what? I don't even know the math. 8, 16, 24, 32, 48, 60 feet. Is that what that would equal out to? Hell, I don't know. So 5 sticks is what I used. I think you could do it in 4, honestly, because I had enough left over to build the step glove box that's in between the two, the driver's seat and the passenger seat. So technically you could probably get away with 4 8-foot sticks. At Home Depot, those are $20 a stick. So you're looking somewhere around $100 just for the aluminum. Next material you'll need is the wood decking. Originally, I went with 3/4 inch treated plywood. Oh, one more thing real quick on the aluminum. If you drive a vehicle that you can't get an 8-foot stick into, which I don't see how you would have that and pull the boat, but it's possible. I guess you could pull it with a car. Home Depot will cut, or Lowe's, they will cut anything for you. So if you need wood cut down or you need sticks cut in half, they'll do that at the store. Just tell them what you want, give them the measurements. They'll do like 10 cuts for free. So just an FYI. So the next thing is the wood. Originally I went with 3/4 inch treated plywood, and I believe that's what the original casting deck is. I messed up on my sheet. It's back here somewhere, but I messed up because the 3/4 inch plywood, at least the treated stuff, is actually slightly bigger than 3/4 inches. Most plywood, just so you know, is actually less than what it says it is. So this 5/8 plywood, which I ended up using, is actually a little less than 5/8 of an inch. The 3/4 inch is actually a little more on the treated. At least the one I got was. So I got my frame all done, and then I get my 3/4 plywood up there, and it was like 1/4 inch high with the carpet, and I was like, whoa, this ain't gonna work. So, plus it's heavy as hell, and I'm a big dude. My fishing partner is a big dude. I wanted to keep the weight down. So I had a piece of, after I realized that the 3/4 wasn't gonna work with my frame, and I didn't want to start drilling all the rivets out of the frame, I went with the 5/8, which I actually had a piece of 5/8 plywood down in my basement that worked. So I just basically took the 3/4, laid it on top of the 5/8, and traced it out because I did all of the angles and measurements and cut the 3/4 out already. So 5/8 is what I went with. Some guys I've heard go with 1/2 inch. That seems to me like very, because it would be less than 1/2 inch. I mean, that would be not much at all. I mean, but I guess if you're not a very big person, 5/8 seems to be pretty good. I can feel a little bit, when I walk on this, I can feel a little bit of a difference between the 3/4 original and the 5/8. I mean, I can feel a little bit of a squish, not a lot, not like it's buckling or I feel like it's going to break or anything, but it's got a little bit more softness to it. But it works good for what I need. Plywood, the 3/4 inch plywood, the treated, was like $60 for a 4x8 sheet. I'm not sure what the 5/8 is. Obviously, all plywood comes in 4 foot wide by 8 foot long sheets. Like I said, you can have them cut it down at the store. I couldn't fit the 4x8 in the back of my Durango. I had them rip off like 6 inches off the side and cut it in half, and that worked. So it was actually, you know, like 3'8" or 3'6" or something like that wide, and it fit in there at an angle in the back of my Durango. Both sheets, both halves. So the 3/4 treated is about $60, like I said. So I don't know about the 5/8. Obviously, it'd be cheaper. The 5/8 I use is actually the CDX plywood. It's not even treated lumber, because treated lumber is very wet, very heavy, and if you don't get it screwed down in a timely manner, it will bow, because it'll do all kinds of wonky shit when it dries. So that covers the aluminum and the plywood. Another material you'll need is staples for when you staple your carpet down. I didn't get stainless steel staples. Some people I think do. I got these from Harbor Freight. You staple underneath the latch. It's not like it's going to be getting pounded with water. If it does, whatever. It's not that big of a deal to be. We got carpet glue. This is an indoor-outdoor adhesive, carpet adhesive. I got this from Lowe's. I think this was like $12 maybe. This is all you need, just one of these. And then you'll need something to spread that with. And right there, buy this at the store, at Lowe's, they have these little plastic glue spreaders. I end up using putty knives, but they do have little spreaders. They're like $1.25 or something. So I'd get a couple of those with this if you don't have putty knives. Other materials you will need is your screws. You will need, I use number 8 1-inch stainless steel. All your screws and hardware, hinges, screws should all be stainless steel. I use number 8 1-inch long ones and number 8 1.5-inch long ones. These are to screw the decking down to the frame. Rivets is another thing you'll need. To put your frame together, if you want to do it how I did it, I used 3/16 by 1/2 inch pop rivets. I got these at Harbor Freight for like $5 for a whole box of them. I didn't even use the whole box. I still got some left, and I put a lot of rivets in. Paint. This is what I use to put a sealer on the wood. This is a Rust-Oleum high performance protective enamel. It's an oil-based. Anything that's oil-based will act as a sealer. I know a guy that works in a marina, and he said that people that put just the CDX down, the CDX plywood with no sealer or nothing, he said it'll take 15 years for that to rot. So this is just extra protection. If you didn't put anything on it, it would still be fine for a long time. I mean, it would have to sit out there outside with no cover on it for years on years and just get drenched for it to really start rotting out. But I use this as the black, just because everything else in the boat's black, so I bought the black. But it's an oil base, so I would suggest if you use anything, get it oil based, and you should be good to go. It doesn't really matter what you use. I think I paid like $10 for this can from Lowe's or Home Depot. I don't remember which one. Spray paint. This Krylon, I think that's how you pronounce it, is an all-in-one paint and primer, indoor, outdoor use. I got this for painting my frame. A lot of people don't do that. The reason I painted the frame black, excuse me, is because when you open the hatches, you still see the edge of your frame. And I wanted it to look clean. That's one thing with me, guys, is you can probably build this deck for very cheap for it to be functional for you. I don't think of it just like that. I think of it as resale value, and I want it to look like it came from the factory as much as possible. So I decided to paint my entire frame black. Didn't have to do it. It was just something I did for me because it made me feel better. So you don't have to have this, but I just threw it in the video in case you wanted to do the same. So I think that is it on materials. Oh, silicone. When you put your deck screws in, you want to dab a little silicone on them, just so when you screw it down through the carpet, it'll seal the hole up. Keep water out, keep moisture out. $3 or something like that for a bottle. Hinges. You'll need your hinges. I end up using these stainless steel 2.5-inch hinges. That's what I ended up using. Originally, I bought these piano hinges. A lot of guys use these stainless steel piano hinges. The reason I didn't is because I bought the wrong size and I didn't want to go back to the store. Simple as that, really. Because I live quite a ways away. I already had these from a while back and I use these instead. Doesn't really matter which ones you use. They're both cheap. These are like $5. These ones are, you know, $5. I don't know. Nothing crazy. Just nickels. I mean, it's really not that much. So I believe that is it on the materials, I think. As far as the tools go, like I said, you might already have a lot of these tools, but I'm going to go through all of them. First thing, a rivet gun. Or a rivet tool. I got this from Harbor Freight for $10. I've never put a rivet in my entire life until I bought this for this casting deck. And it's very simple. I will make another video showing you how to do it, to put the aluminum together. Very simple. $10, like butter. Put every single rivet in, no problems. Harbor Freight is great for this kind of stuff. It really is. You might not ever build another casting deck or ever use this again. So if any tool you could buy from Harbor Freight for this project, I would do it because you're going to get it way cheaper there and it'll do the job. So, Rivet Tool. This also, just so you know, this comes with multiple size heads in it, tips in it, so you can pull these tips out of the handle and change your tip sizes out. The largest one in it is actually, the one that comes in it actually is the 3/16 tip, which is the rivets I used. Staple gun. You're going to use a staple gun to staple your carpet down. I will be making a video of how to put carpet down, and this is key. I had this already, but you can get these from Harbor Freight as well, and probably $10, probably. Nothing to it, nothing fancy, nothing special, just a commercial grade staple gun. Saws. So this is where it gets a little tricky, I guess. You could do this whole project probably with a Sawzall if you wanted to, with a metal blade. I use multiple saws. I used a miter saw to cut all my aluminum. I actually went to the store and bought a 84 tooth ferrous metal blade for my miter saw. If you don't know what a miter saw is, I'm not going to walk around and show you. It's just a saw that lays down, it comes down and cuts. It gives you more accurate, precise, straight cuts. I paid like $70 for that blade. I've heard the guys can use like just a regular wood blade or a fine cutting wood blade in your miter saw and still cut that aluminum. I didn't have the balls to try it. I wasn't screwing with that, so I just went and got the ferrous metal blade. I will tell you this, if you never cut metal or aluminum or whatever with the miter saw, when you do it, be very careful. Wear safety glasses first. Second, and when you go, start at full speed and take the saw down nice and slow and let the blade do the work. It's not like wood. If you try to just push it through, dude, I was in the middle of cutting. I cut like 4, 5, 6 of them, listening to music, chilling. The next thing you know, well, bam! And it just stopped and it shot my fucking aluminum, oh, sorry about that, to the wall. I mean, it scared the shit out of me. So go slow, let the blade do the work, nice and smooth, it'll cut it every time. So that's what I use to cut the aluminum frame. To cut the decking, to cut the main square out, the main section, I use a circular saw for most of it. Just because a circular saw, you can get straighter lines. But you could do it with a jigsaw or a sawzall if you wanted to. You ain't really got to worry about straight lines that much. I realize that. I mean, yeah, you want to have straight lines, but your carpet makes up for a lot of imperfections on your cuts. I mean, just when you wrap it, it'll make it look a lot better than what it actually does underneath the carpet. So circular saw I use to make my main cut. Then to cut out my hatches, I use a jigsaw. I use the Milwaukee battery jigsaw. I use Milwaukee tools a lot just because that's what I've always used. It's what I grew up on using, and I just always stuck with it. I'm not saying one's better than the other. It's just what I use. It's never let me down, so I've stuck with them. I use this Milwaukee battery jigsaw. You can do the whole project pretty much with this saw right here, all your cuts. You can get wood blades, metal blades, everything from Harbor Freight. I love Harbor Freight. This whole pack right here was a whole crap ton of jigsaw blades, 15 jigsaw blades. I think I paid $7 for it, and I did all my cuts with it. So your jigsaw, you can do the whole project with this if you want. It just takes a little more time. You got to be a little more steady, and your lines it's a little harder to make straight lines with a jigsaw. But a jigsaw is perfect for cutting shapes and cutting corners and stuff like that. So jigsaw is I would say the most important saw you would need if you don't have the other ones. The other ones are just a luxury. This is pretty much a must, in my opinion, because when you get to cutting the little doohickey there in the corner by the live weld, the little angle piece, you ain't cutting that with a circular saw. Not neatly, you're not. So that's what I think the jigsaw is the most important saw for. That's the jigsaw. An oscillating tool. I call it a multi-tool. This tool, if you never use one of these things are badass. Basically, it just vibrates at a high frequency, a high speed, and you just push it, and it's got like a plunge cutter on it, and it will clean up anything. Like if you got to get to a tight corner, I'll turn it on. I mean, the blade doesn't even look like it's moving. It's so fast, and you just push it, and it cuts a nice straight line. I use this when like I was cleaning up some edges and stuff. Instead of getting the jigsaw out, I would just lay it flush and just push it down, just clean up my edge lines. I mean, it's almost like a trimmer when you're trimming a beard. I mean, it's just clean, straight line, real small sections. It's not something you run long ways. It's just a straight down, and it works great. You don't have to have this. This is just, like I said, another luxury tool. So that's that. Then battery drill. I did this whole thing with this 12-volt Milwaukee impact. I lied. You could do the whole thing with just a 12-volt battery drill. This is the impact. When I was drilling, when you screw your decking down, you got to run your drill bit down, and then you got to switch your bit over to drive the screws in. So I had two of them, I already had them. So I put my drill bit in one and my driver in the other. The only time you really use a drill is just screwing down the wood, I believe. I don't think there's any other time I used the battery drill. Oh, yes, when you're putting your hatches in, your handles in your hatches, and you're cutting with a hole saw. The other thing is tape measure. That's the most important thing, I guess. Obviously, most of you have a tape measure, I'm sure. Tape measure is something that's obviously crucial to this. You have to have a tape measure or you're not going to be able to do it. And then shop vac. I have the Milwaukee shop vac, of course. I love this thing, battery operated. you're gonna make a mess. I did most of my stuff outside of the boat. I put all the frame together outside of the boat. I cut the wood outside the boat. But once I got it towards the end stages there and I was fitting everything together, there's little cuts and stuff like that I had to make. And I did it in the boat. And you know, you're gonna have metal chips or from aluminum, and you're gonna have, you know, from when you're putting rivets in, you're gonna have sawdust and stuff like that in there. So shop vac to clean up after yourself. Obviously, not a priority, but you're gonna have to clean your boat eventually, so might as well get one. Some other little tools. Oh, drill bits. You're gonna have to have drill bits to put your rivets in. So I lied, you do use your drill. You gotta drill the hole through the aluminum, then put the rivet in with the rivet tool and clamp it. I bought this little pack right here from Harbor Freight, $8, and I drilled every rivet. I can't remember what the exact size is off the top of my head. I got them all disorganized now. I think it's the 1364 is what, or the 3/16 probably, drill bit. It tells you in here, and it tells you on the rivets what size you need to use, preferably drill bit wise. Recommended hole diameter 3/16. So yeah, use a 3/16 inch drill bit for your 3/16 inch rivets. Makes sense. Like I said, like $8 or something for this whole little drill bit kit. Did the whole project with it. Other drill bits I bought is these. These are, what size are these? 9/64 is a whole little pack of them. I think there's like 7 or 8 in this pack. I bought these for like $5 from Harbor Freight. And these are the ones that go in your drill. You pre-drill through your, once you got your carpet, you got your board down, your carpet, and your decking material on top of your frame. You drill down through the wood, through the carpet, through the wood, into the frame with these bits right here. And then you run your screw down, your number 8 stainless steel screw right behind it. I think I broke one of them. You get going too fast and you can snap them. That's why I bought the multi-pack, because I figured I would, because they're smaller bits and they're easy to snap. But they work. I mean, I still got a bunch left. I got all my screws in. We're good. Hole saws. Harbor Freight special. Hey, you're seeing a trend here, right? I bought this whole hole saw kit from Harbor Freight for, like, seriously, like $7.50. The largest hole saw in this kit is the hole saw I used to cut out for the black handles in the hatches. Where is that hatch at? Stay right here, right back. This hatch right here, I keep calling it the hatch, it's the handle for the hatch. This is the exact same handle that's on your live well and on your back compartment. If you open up your live well, it's got a number printed in the back of it. It's made by Atwood. I got this from Boat Outfitters. It was $3.50 a piece. They shipped it here in like 3 days. So, this hole saw, the biggest hole saw in this kit is the hole saw that fits this. It's round in the back. You drill this hole after you got your carpet on. You mark out where you want your handles. You drill this down through. This goes down in the hole like this. Run your 4 screws down into it. Simple as that. Just so you know, the screws that I put in these handles, instead of using stainless screws, because I didn't want the silver to stand out, I actually used, if you can see it, these short black deck screws. They're pretty weather resistant. I mean, they're made for outside decking, but they're black, so they match the handles. I didn't want to see the 4 silver screws. These are, I think, 3/4 inch long. So the hole saw kit. Scissors. That's another tool. Scissors. You can cut your carpet with a knife, a utility knife. I brought one here just to show you. I didn't use this. I used these. I got these from, guess where? Harbor Freight. From Harbor Freight for $5. These things cut carpet like you're cutting wrapping paper. I mean, you could literally just push it on this 16-ounce carpet and it will cut it. And I got more control with these than I do with a knife. So I use these to do all my carpet cuts when I was cutting out to cover my hatches and my my deck. So these are great. They come in 2 different sizes. I got the smaller ones. They also make the longer shafted ones as well. Oh, Sharpie. You're gonna need a Sharpie to mark. Pencil to mark as well. And then speed square. Did I bring that over here? I didn't bring it over here, I don't think. Hold on. This is a little bigger one, but it's a speed square. You put this on your flat edge. So this is your aluminum right here. Where's the aluminum at? Put it like this, and you got to mark a line going this way. You get a nice straight line, mark it. Speed square, Harbor Freight, $3. T-square, right here. When you're wanting to measure, if you're wanting to mark long straight lines across plywood, and you'll need this for the decking, for the part that butts up against the existing decking in the back end, you use this. Put this up against the edge of your wood, mark a nice straight line right down the side of this, all the way down. Cardboard, or whatever the hell you want to use. So this cardboard right here was from a TV I bought my son for Christmas. I cut the face of it out. I think it was like a 43-inch TV. This thing fits perfect to make the stencil for your decking. Obviously, the side that matches up against the live well and the side that matches up against the existing decking is square, perfectly square. So you can put that right on the edge of your plywood. So when you get your frame down, you would lay this on top of there, okay? We'll go over this in another video because it's kind of in depth with that part. For right now, cardboard or something that you can use to make a jig or a stencil to lay on top of your wood to cut out the proper dimensions and shape for your casting deck, the decking. And the last and most important thing I forgot about is the carpet. I got a roll of it downstairs. It is 16 ounce. A lot of people ask me this. 16 ounce marine grade boat carpet. The color is Midnight Star. It's not exact, but it's really close. I got it from boatcarpetbuys.com. I believe that's the website. Or it's Carpet Boat Buys. One of the two. I think it's Boat Carpet Buys. That makes more sense. It was here in like seriously 2 days. You have to buy a minimum of 10 square feet. It comes 6 foot wide. I bought 12 feet. I got enough to do this casting deck all over again. And I screwed up a few times. So 10 feet is all you need. And you'll be good. I'm sure if you get that Midnight Star gray from anywhere though, it'll be pretty close. It's not exact, but it's pretty damn close. So, I think I went over everything for tools and material wise. If I didn't, leave me a comment, ask me a question, I'll be more than happy to answer. A budget for this. You can do this whole deck extension with everything, assuming you have the drills and the saws. I'm not talking about buying those power tools. No power tools included with this budget. You can do it for about 250 bucks, 300 on the high end. You might be able to save some money by using a thinner plywood, by not using as much angle. So you might be able to get it within, you know, 225, somewhere in there. But you're going to spend at least $200. But it's 8 square foot added to your boat. They're huge compartments, which now that I got them done, I'll show you guys in another video, the finished product. So if you got any more questions or anything I didn't cover, please let me know. I'm freezing my balls off. It's like 8 inches of snow out there that we got last night, and it was a miserable morning driving to work. So any questions, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer you. Subscribe so you can get the alert for that next video, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.